So topic 8, acid, base and salt, and the subtopic is type of oxides. What are oxides? The term oxide means the compound which contain oxygen. When oxygen react with another element, it result in a formation of a compound and we call that as oxide. So what are the different types of oxides? You should be able to classify the oxides are basically divided into two categories. First, main categories. There can be a non-metallic oxide. Non-metallic oxide means a non-metal is present with oxygen. And oxide can be a metallic oxide. Metallic oxide means the metal is present with oxygen. Because we know oxygen is a non-metal itself, oxygen is a non-metal. So when two non-metals are there, what kind of bonding they will have? They will have covalent bonding. And metal react with non-metal. Oxygen is a non-metal, so what kind of bonding they will have? They will have ionic bonding. So oxides can be divided first into non-metallic and metallic oxide, and then non-metallic oxide are further divided into two categories. One is called acidic, another one is known as neutral. What is the meaning of acidic oxide? Acidic oxide, it can react with base. Like it act like an acid, can react with base. So oxide which can act like an acid and react with base only or alkali, we call that as acidic oxide. What is a neutral oxide? A neutral oxide, an oxide which does not act like acid or base. So neutral oxide, oxide which is not having an acidic nature or not having a basic nature, that we call as a neutral oxide. I will give examples. The next slide you will see the examples. The table is also there. But the idea, like from the name, you should be able to identify. So first, oxide can be divided into metal oxide or non-metal oxide, and the non-metal oxides are further divided into acidic and neutral oxide. What is the meaning of acidic oxide? Acidic oxide means they can they can act like an acid. So if something act like an acid, it can react with base only. They don't react with acid, they can react with base. A neutral oxide does not react with acid or base. It is a neutral, does not have any specific nature. Whereas metal oxide is divided into two categories, basic oxide and amphoteric oxide. What is the meaning of basic oxide? Basic oxide means it acts like a base. So basic oxide, it acts like a base and it can react with acid only. So if we add acid, they can react. If we add base, they don't react. And what about the amphoteric oxide? Amphoteric oxide means it can act like both acid and base, or it can react with both acid and base. So it is easy to remember, like acidic oxide. Acidic oxide means that is the nature, like it is having an acidic nature. So acidic oxide can react, because acid can react with base, so acidic oxide can react with base, but acid does not react, so it cannot react with acid. Same way neutral oxide, from the name you can identify, neutral means like does not have any specific nature in terms of acidic or alkaline, so we call them as neutral oxide, and they are neither acidic nor alkaline. They don't react with acid or base. A term basic oxide means their nature, they have a basic nature, so base can react with acid, so that's why they can react with acid only. And the term amphoteric, it means dual or two natures. So what are two natures? It can react with both acid and base. Is it clear? First, the definitions of acidic, neutral, basic, and amphoteric oxides. Then how to identify is the second thing. But first thing, you should understand the term that if we say acidic oxide, it can react with base. If it's a basic oxide, can react with acid. If it is amphoteric oxide, can react with both. And it's a neutral oxide, does not react with acid or base. Now, how you will identify the acidic and the basic oxide, as well as acidic, basic, neutral, and amphoteric? So, as you can see here, the amphoteric oxide, the term amphoteric oxide means they can react with both acid and alkali. So what are amphoteric oxide? Like when hydrogen, because it's element, this is shown a periodic table. So if hydrogen is mixed with what oxygen, it is water, and that is amphoteric. That's why when we add water to acid or water to alkali, it can react with both. Beryllium oxide, that is amphoteric. Amphoteric means if we add acid or alkali, it can react with both. Then aluminum, zinc, gallium, tin. So this region, this whole region, or lead, this whole region is the amphoteric oxide. You have to learn this, like I will outline this boundary. So this boundary is for amphoteric oxide. This whole region. Then what about the neutral oxide, the oxide which does not react with acid or base? We call them as neutral oxide. And the only two neutral oxides are there, carbon monoxide. So just learn their carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide. These are the neutral oxide, nitrogen monoxide. Rest all are, like if this carbon dioxide is acidic, but carbon monoxide is neutral. So learn the definition for neutral oxide, that is carbon monoxide. Then on the right hand side, like if we learn, if you memorize the acidic, if you memorize the amphoteric oxide and the neutral oxide, so on the right hand side, on the right hand side of this you will find acidic oxide. On the left hand side of this you will find basic oxides. But in your course you don't have to learn all of them. The three example of amphoteric oxide which you should learn, that is zinc oxide, lead oxide, and aluminum oxide. That's only three examples. This table is correct, like this is a complete explanation, but for your course outline you should learn only three amphoteric oxide: zinc oxide, lead oxide, and aluminum. And the neutral oxide is carbon monoxide. There is nitrogen oxide is neutral, but you have to learn only one example, that is carbon mono. And rest, if it is a metal oxide, it will be basic oxide, and if it's a non-metal oxide, it will be an acidic oxide. So if you learn these four examples, three for amphoteric and one is for neutral, then remaining you can simply name as a metal oxide or basic oxide or non-metal oxide. So example, just learn the examples for neutral, that is carbon monoxide, and amphoteric only three. That is aluminum oxide, zinc oxide, and lead oxide. So these three, and remaining, if it is a metal oxide, it will always be a basic. Like if there's a metal present, the metal will be there with oxygen, and if it is an acidic oxide, then there will be a non-metal with oxygen. So if I say identify the type of oxide, but just using this information, so if I say I have sodium oxide, Na2O, what kind of oxide is this? First, I will check the exceptions. Amphoteric, the 3 amphoteric are there, 1 neutral. If it is not from this category, then I have to check only the element which is here. The element here is a metal. So if the element which is attached with oxygen is a metal, so what kind of oxide will be this? This will be a basic oxide. So first I have to check whether the example belongs to any of these examples such as aluminium, zinc or lead or carbon monoxide. If it does not belongs to these 4 examples, then I will check the element which is present. If the element present is a metal, then it is a basic oxide. Same way, if I say sulfur dioxide, so what you will do, you will first check the 4 examples, 3 for amphoteric, aluminium, zinc, lead, and 1 is neutral carbon mono. So this is sulfur. Sulfur is a non-metal. So non-metal is there, and whenever non-metal oxide, what kind of oxide is this? This will be acidic oxide. So just remember, memorize these these examples, 3 for amphoteric and 1 for neutral. And if it does not belongs to these examples, then you will check the element. If it's a metal, then it will be basic, and it's a non-metal, it will be acidic. Another example, if I say I have magnesium oxide. So what kind of oxide is magnesium? Magnesium, it does not belongs to amphoteric or neutral. So magnesium is a metal. So what kind of oxide is this? If it's a metal, so it will be basic oxide. Same way, if I say I have nitrogen dioxide, so it does not belongs to these options, so it will be a non-metal. And whenever it's a non-metal, what kind of oxide is this? It will be acidic oxide. So this is a simple way to identify the type of oxide, and you will find sometimes they give you the periodic table and they ask to identify the position. So on the left hand side you will find basic oxide or metal oxide. On the right hand side you will find acidic oxide, and in between them you will find amphoteric oxide. So magnesium oxide is a metal oxide or a basic oxide. Carbon dioxide is acidic. Sulfur dioxide is also acidic. But the amphoteric oxide is the oxide which can react with both acid and base. So just learn 3 examples for your course. Only 3 examples you have to learn: lead, zinc, and aluminium. So this was a short topic related to types of oxide. Any question related to the class today? So we completed topic 8.1, which was about acids and base, and topic 8.2, which was about types of the oxides.